So just to stress, this is how to remove the part that you see in the video description. This car is being completely disassembled, so I'm showing you guys how to take things apart. Typically, reinstalling the part is just the same process backwards. If there's any sort of differences, I will be sure to let you know in this video. To begin removing the bumper, first we must remove the clips from the fender flares. The Nismo fender flares and the base model fender flares are slightly different, so your clip locations may vary. Once you remove the clips, you simply pull on the fender flare to reveal a 10mm bolt. Remove that 10mm bolt. There are 4 clips that need to be removed from the grille. This particular car's clips are already broken off, so remove those 4 clips. Then go underneath the vehicle. If you have a Nismo, then there is a series of 7 10mm screws and bolts that need to be removed. If it is a non-Nismo Juke, then you need to remove 4 bolts and 3 clips. The 4 bolts are the 2 that are being removed currently, and then 2 on the other side. The 3 bolts or 3 clips are in the middle as shown in the video. To remove the bumper, now pull firmly on the bumper starting from underneath where the wheel well is. You want to do one side at a time. It helps to have a second person to help hold the bumper up. You need to pull pretty hard in order to get these clips undone. Once these clips are undone, you can then lean the bumper forward. If you have fog lights, you will now need to unplug the fog lights. A flathead screwdriver helps, as these clips can become stuck or full of dirt. To remove the gator light, there are 2 10mm bolts that need to be removed and 1 10mm nut that needs to be loosened. Simply lift and pull forward on the gator light to remove it. Once you have it out of place, be sure to remove the bulbs from the gator light to simply take the light out. If you leave the bulbs in, you do not have a lot of room of travel to move the gator light around to gain access to other components. With the gator light removed, now we can remove the headlight. There are 3 10mm bolts that hold the headlight in. Remove all 3 of these bolts. Using a small flathead screwdriver, lift the tab out of the place for the headlight mount, and then remove the headlight. Remember to unplug the bulb to completely remove the headlight. It is the same process on the other side. To remove the upper radiator support, we need to first remove the clips holding in the wind deflectors. There are 2 of them. A special clip tool does help. the upper radiator support, we also need to remove 4 13mm bolts. They are located as shown in the video. To remove the hood, simply remove the 4 bolts holding it to the hinges. It is best to prepare a location to put the hood for immediately after you unbolt it so that you're not stuck carrying it around. With the hood removed and radiator support loosened, simply lift the radiator support and gently move it out of the way, keeping in mind that it is still connected to the electrical harness. The next step is to remove the intercooler. To remove the intercooler, first you want to loosen and remove the upper intercooler piping. On this particular vehicle, the pipe on the left is different from factory, but the removal process is the same. Using a flathead screwdriver or the appropriate size socket, loosen up all clamps associated with the particular pipe you are removing, loosen it, and then remove the pipe. With the pipe removed, we can now remove the intercooler to gain better access to the coolant pipes. Working around the AC system, simply remove the intercooler by lifting it upward and outward, leaving the pipes attached to it as not to lose or misadjust them. Now we must drain the coolant system. Place a hose over the coolant drain nipple as to prevent a large mess. If you do not have a hose available, just keep in mind that the fluid will spill out onto the lower radiator support and pretty much go everywhere. Once you have a pan set up below, simply twist the tab to start draining coolant out of the system. Opening and removing the radiator cap does help with the flow of coolant. To separate the AC condenser from the radiator, remove the 2 10mm screws that are holding it to the radiator and place those off to the side. Before we can remove the AC condenser from the radiator, we need to remove the harness connecting to the pressure switch. Simply use pliers to remove the clip that is holding the harness in place, and then squeeze the release tab to release the harness. Now lift upward with the AC condenser and then slowly bring it downward. Now we must remove the upper radiator hoses. To release the overflow hose, simply pull on the hose and it will come off. To remove the overflow tank, push forward on its release tab and pull upward and the tank will come out. To unplug the radiator fan, lean the radiator forward slightly and disconnect the 2 plugs shown in the video. You will then need to remove the mounting tabs for the harness from the radiator fan assembly. A pair of wire snips to cut the ties or a screwdriver works well here. Behind where the intercooler was located, there are 2 hoses that need to be disconnected. The first hose, using a pair of pliers, disconnect the small clamp holding it to the water pump. Though this hose is not attached to the radiator, it does block access to the lower radiator hose that is behind it. The larger radiator hose behind that needs to be removed in a similar fashion. Using pliers, move the clamp off to the side so you have access to remove the hose from the water pump housing. Now remove the upper radiator hose from the filler neck assembly using a pair of pliers in a similar fashion to how you remove the lower radiator hose from the water pump housing. Now lift on the radiator to remove it from the vehicle. Hi, you made it through a whole video. I appreciate that. You should go check out our other videos. You should also go check out our website, thefastreligion.com. We got like sweatshirts and t-shirts and stuff.